Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, October 2. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly. So hopefully everyone had a great weekend. It's the first of the month, technically, for the trading week or the trading month of October. So I want to be a little careful with the entries as as you guys will see some erratic movement here on open. So let me go ahead and put this up here real quick. A few more things here to update. Let's see, it looks like we're good. Looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. All right, guys, morning, everybody. Today is Monday, October 2nd. It is 6:25 right now. Market's going to open in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start market liquidity over here, and then we'll get started shortly. So there's a couple things here to update, and we should be good to go. Let's get it right there. Change the colors here. I'm just going to start from the 1 hour because it's kind of useless for us to go super far out. So let's start up here. So red, 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 red. All right, so as most of you guys know, I'm coloring the riskier liquidity in red. Those are going to be considered higher highs and lower lows. Reason for that is because typically that's like where a lot of people place their support and resistance, and there's support resistance and there's supply and demand. So that's why they're colored differently. It's not going to make a huge difference, but it's just a better precaution when looking at these liquidity zones. So we got liquidity marked up there. Go down to the 15-minute. Let's see. Blue, red. Down to the 10-minute. Blue. Red. Let me go on the higher time frames because I think this is too close. The 1 hour, there should be a lower level here, which will be right there, and this will be. All right, looks like we are good to go. Let me just color this blue and this blue. All right, guys, looks like we're good to go. Looking at liquidity, we have the closest level down below at 36.61 or 33.619, above level over here at 33.730. Yeah, so we have one level right there, and we have a lower level right over here. Take this, all right, so there goes the closest liquidity. Liquidity up top is going to be blue. Liquidity on the bottom is going to be red. So obviously this is going to be riskier than this one. But I think the overall bias for today is bearish. So we'll see what happens when the market opens. Looking over here at the news for today, I think we have news this morning. We have news at 6:45 and 7. So, all right, guys, looks like majority of you guys are here. So good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, October 2nd. It is 6:29 right now. Market's going to open in about 1 minute. Just keep in mind, guys, that this is the first of the month. Technically, it's not October 1st, but it's the first of the month for the new trading month. So for October, this is the first official trading day. Typically the first and the last of the month is typically going to be, riskier because new contracts are opening for the options market. And that's typically how the market works. So just be a little careful for today, guys, when looking for these entries. There hasn't been too much movement here, but we'll probably see some movement when the market opens in the next 20 seconds. So other than that, see who's here so far. Morning, Maria. Morning, Ben Hartwig. Morning, Ruin. Morning, Søren. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Randy. Yeah, welcome back, Søren. It's been a while. Market is opening in about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open, guys. So looking at this here, we currently have a buy signal, which is active. So if we get 2 green candles here back to back, that'll technically be the breakout V2. So we'll be looking at that first. And then if we get a sell signal here, then we'll be looking for a sell. So we'll see what happens here. We do have news coming up in about 15 minutes. So if the breakout doesn't happen anytime soon, then we'll have to sit tight and wait for a better confirmation. All right, so if we get a sell signal right here, we might have to look for a sell, which is completely fine because I think everything's bearish right now. So yeah, looking over here on the shorter time frames, everything's bearish. You can see prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. And same thing on the higher time frames on the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour down here. So you guys can see this crazy candle right here, right? This is exactly what I was warning about. First of the month, typically you're going to see a lot of this erratic movement. So you want to be just a little careful with taking entries, because the last thing you want to do is get caught on the wrong side of the market or get caught in a whipsaw. If you guys are not familiar with the whipsaw, there's a whipsaw. So if you guys see how this candle kind of came down super heavy, then it spiked right back up, that's what we call a whipsaw. You're going to see a lot of that today until there's like an actual direction that's been set. So we had a bearish September. So September was all bearish for the most part. We might have a shift this month in October as the market's in full swing for fall. But we'll see what happens. There's no need to really predict the market. We kind of just have to wait and see what the market gives us. But you guys can see over here that the market is still whipsawing back and forth. You can see prices coming right back down. So we'll see. All right, we have 1 green candle right here. If we get another green candle, that'll technically be the breakout V2. So we'll be looking for it, but you guys can see, and yeah, I'm gonna have to take that back. So you can see right there, that price is whipsawing back and forth. We had price come down, shot right back up, came back down. This here, if this closes as a green candle, this will technically be the breakout V2. So if you guys are looking to take the breakout V2, it's going to come up shortly. However, with the type of movements that we're getting right here, I would probably move your stop loss and profit early, or even just go for 100 pips, because you guys can see that there's not really much of a solid direction here. The ATR is currently at 16. Yeah, I don't even know if we're going to get a green candle here. It's not looking like it. But then again, we have 15 seconds left on this candle, so this can easily just shift back up. So if you guys are looking to take it, I'll probably only go for like partial move, or I'll move my stop loss and profit very quickly. I gotta wait for this candle to actually close out. Let's see, I can't even get into it. It moves too quickly. So the entry's right there. Let me see if I can maybe get in for partial entry. Didn't even get into the trade. Let me see if I get in with the buy stop right there. All right. So I'm watching it right here. This thing is super choppy. It didn't fill my order yet. I thought it would have filled my order, but it didn't. I just don't like the movement here. Might even just cancel it. I don't know if anybody's in the position here for the breakout V2. It's currently running though, but it is like, I mean, it's just spiking back and forth. Let's see, C6 said he caught it for 10. This is insane, definitely not for me. Yeah, I know this type of movement right here is just it's blocky. So I wasn't able to get in the position. I'm just gonna cancel it. I don't feel comfortable with the market right now with how it's moving. It's kind of what we were expecting for the first of the month. So the first of the month is typically, it's either very volatile or it's very choppy. Right now, you guys can see it's super choppy. I mean, the trade's still running. If you guys are in the position, it's still technically running right now. I should have just left it. It's okay. So I should have just left it because it went straight to 100 pips right there. But it's all good. So there goes a breakout V2, still running. And it looks like it may hit TP right there. Yep, full TP. So if you guys caught it, I mean, great work. If you guys didn't, it's completely fine. You guys can see the market here is very, very erratic. It's just, I don't know, the market, there's no real words to like put this market into making sense, but it's just, this is how the market moves typically. Well, for one, it's Monday, and for two, it's the first of the month. So you guys can see how it's kind of just bouncing around a lot. It did hit TP, so I'm going to document it. I didn't take the trade though, so obviously I'm not going to count it as my official trade, but we'll see where it ends up going from here. So I'll be looking for any other entries here. I mean, if anything, if the market keeps moving this way, I might not even trade today. A lot of times it's really knowing when and when not to trade, right? Like that's kind of what I was telling you guys before. Like this trade could have hit, it could have not hit. It's hard to tell with the type of market conditions that we're in. So this today is the second. This entry came up, I think, right at open, I believe. Entry came up at 633. It was for a buy. It was a win. 250. This. Right. So breakout V2 was a win today. Let me see if there's anything else. There hasn't been a momentum counter scalp yet, so we're still looking for that as well. So first entry for the day, breakout V2, full TP. If you guys took it, great work. Yeah, Randy said closed out really early on that. It's too blocky. Yeah, I agree. Probably better decision there. You don't want to be too stressed out with holding a trade like that. Yeah, C6 said, who needs coffee? Right, when you get a trade like that. All right, guys, so we're still looking for, next opportunity here. But again, we're just going to take it easy. We're not going to do anything too crazy here with these entries for today. So the next entry that we're looking for would be a momentum counter scalp. So we would need a sell signal and then 2 green candles. If we get a sell signal and 2 green candles, that's going to be a momentum counter scalp. And then after that, we'll be looking for possible momentum pullback scalps and intraday scalp. So we're looking for intraday scalp, momentum pullback scalp, and what's the other one? High-low momentum scalp. Yeah, so we'll see. All right, let me go over here real quick. I'm just going to set these up so when it comes time, we'll have these set up already. The momentum counter scalp right here. All right, so there's no entries right now. We got news coming up in about like 7 minutes, 6 minutes. We have a pending sell signal right here. So if the sell signal here closes, it might set up for a momentum counter scalp. Yeah, Patricia said she's going to wait until after news. I will probably wait after news as well. Yeah, it's not really a smooth market. As you guys can see, the data is fine. It's just it's a blocky market. I don't remember the last time I saw the market so blocky like this. And if you guys aren't familiar with like how I mean by blocky, it's just if you look at the candle right here, it's not really a smooth up and down, right? The candles look fine, but looking at the candle actual movement, it's obviously it's blocky. So just something to keep in mind if you guys are looking at how this is moving here. All right, so Randy said FTMO data feed is also blocky. That says something. Yeah, I think that's just how the market's moving today. It's just in general, it's just very blocky. It's not smooth at all. So the thing with the blocky movement here is that it's risky because when you enter a trade, price might just block up quick instead of like having like a swift like pullback. You're just gonna get a block. So it's going to be like the candle will disappear and it'll swing up real quick and it'll swing back down. And it's just it's just a tricky market to be trading in because our stop losses are so tight, right? Our stop losses and our TPs are so tight. So it's kind of tricky with like, our ability to like really know when we're in and out of the position. C6 said everyone holding off for JPOW. Is JPOW speaking today? Let me check. He is. So JPOW is speaking today at 8 o'clock. So we have Fed Chair Powell speaking at 8 o'clock. We have Fed Harker speaking at 8 o'clock as well. And later today, we have Fed Barr, Fed Williams, Fed Messer. So a lot of Feds that are speaking today. Today's like Fed day, basically. I don't think it's Fed week. It's too early to be Fed week. Yeah, it looks like they're just talking today. So obviously they're going to talk about inflation. Well, the news right now at 6:45 is going to be inflation. High impact S&P global manufacturing PMI. And then we have ISM services or ISM manufacturing prices at 7. So basically a bunch of inflation news coming up this morning. So we got the inflation news coming up right here in 3 minutes. I would hold off on taking any entries. This like market is like really tripping me out, just seeing how like the candles are moving. I don't know. It's just doesn't look like it just doesn't look real because like I haven't seen the markets this blocky. Usually this is how the market moves during like holidays, which today's not a holiday, so it's a little unusual. Sorry guys, I'm gonna step away for like 1 second. My allergies are kicking in. It's weird because I never had allergies and I have allergies. I started having allergies this year. The temperature changes like killing me because it was super hot like a couple weeks ago. It was like 100 degrees here. Now it's back to like it's like 60 degrees right now. It's a big change in weather over here in California. C6 asking, is it a holiday for Canada? I don't know. Let's see. It's a bank holiday for Australia and China. Not sure about Canada. Or actually, sorry, I was looking at the wrong date. Yeah, today's a bank holiday for Canada, it looks like. main holiday for Canada and for China. So, I mean, yeah, Canada's a player in the market. They're not a huge player, but they are a player in the market. So maybe that's why the market's kind of moving like this, but I mean, who knows? We'll just have to work with it. So news is going to come up in about a minute, guys. So I'd probably wait for the news to pass. It's high impact news, so obviously you want to be careful. Let's see. Alan's asking, did FTML raise the spread on US30? Right now, it's currently at 180 for me. So it's, I mean, it's still kind of normal. I think if it's above 200 or 20 points, it says 200, like 180, but it's really 18. If it's above 200, then yeah, I'd consider that raised. Right now it's at 80. The volatility is kind of low and the price is blocky. So I think it's about the same, Alan, for now at least. But the spread is always changing. So if it changes, I'll let you know. But right now it's currently at 180. Typically 190 is like the high end. Anything above 190 is definitely too high for a New York session. All right, we got news right here in about 4, 3, 2, 1. And here goes news. Let's see what happens. You know, I just realized I didn't mark the opening price. I'm gonna go do that right now. So there goes the news candle right there. We'll see what happens here, and then we'll go from there. So market opened right here at 630. You know, I was thinking back to like the breakout V2 earlier. It was weird how it didn't fill my order. Because I swear it went up to entry point. It didn't fill it. So, I mean, it would have been nice if it did, because it went straight to TP, but it's kind of weird that it didn't fill it. Kind of went up, disappeared, and then it never filled on my M24. Anyways, this is the news candle right here, guys, with this huge candle. This is why I was saying to avoid entering any trade that's on news, because you get this huge candle right here. Dropped about 500 pips or 50 points. Looking at the news, let me see what it was. So the news was actually neutral. Yes, or it was positive, I guess. It was positive actually. So it might be, there might be a correction. So the news was actually positive right here, and price dropped like 500 pips. So this is probably going to correct back up at some point to fill this candle right here. So I probably would expect a correction. I mean, I don't know, we'll see. If it does move where it's supposed to go, we'll probably expect a correction. However, there's more inflation news coming up right here at 7 o'clock. So if we don't get that correction from now until 7, then we'll see what happens with this news over here, because we have some more high impact news for ISM manufacturing PMI. Yeah, I think this one is probably going to be, it's going to be more important, the 7 o'clock one. So this kind of just gave a hint of like what the news was going to, what the inflation news was going to be. And then here's going to be a follow-up. So we got S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, and then ISM Manufacturing PMI. This is the one that's actually important. So this is just a little hint like, okay, this is probably going to be good news for these down here. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see. So if anything, if price does correct back up, it's probably going to correct back to the opening price right there. So you have more news right here at 7 o'clock. The news here at 8. Shannon said, back for the long haul, Sean, have a new schedule so I can trade in peace. Nice. It's awesome, Shannon. Guys, glad to see that you're back here consistently. Yeah, that's the thing with trading, guys. Like with trading, you got it's all about consistency. If you guys can be consistently on these live sessions, you guys will get better. It's just a matter of time until you start to understand things. Because we cover the same thing, it's the same routine every single day. So looking at this here, guys, if we get 2 green candles, this will technically be a momentum counter scalp if you guys are looking to take it. So we have a sell signal right here. If we get 2 green candles, that's going to be the momentum counter scalp, and then we'll see what happens from there. Let's see. Alan is asking about Henko. I don't use Henko anymore, so I don't know. I can't log into my Henko account because I already took it off my my MC4. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did raise the spread because we are in the fall season. So I would expect them to maybe raise the spread because you know, the increased volatility. So I can't say for sure. I don't know if anybody else here is using Henko, but if you can confirm that if they raise the spread for Alan. What's the spread right now, Alan? Because the spreads typically are the same across like all 5. If it's at 5, I think it should be fine. Is it like 5 as in 50 or 500? Because I've never seen it at 5. Like usually if it's like 180, like right now on FTM it's 180, but it's really 18. So if it's at 5, just 5, then I think you should, it's actually better on Henko. Yeah, so it's like 50. 5 points. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I stopped using Henko because of the spread initially. So I don't know if that's like higher than what it normally is, or if that's like what it's just at. But I stopped using Henko because of the spread. It wasn't working on my copier. All right, guys. So here's man, this candle's too big. So this is technically the momentum counter scalp if it closes. But again, here it's just really you guys can see how blocky it is, right? But yeah, this is a setup for the momentum counter scalp if you guys are looking to, you know, obviously take a trade here. So again, it's a blocky candle here. It needs to be green. So in order for it to be a momentum counter scalp, it needs to be green. It's not looking like it's in a close green. So actually no momentum counter scalp there. All right, so no momentum counter scalp there. Let's see. Alan said 3 points. Wait, so is it 5 or 3, or is it changing, Alan? Because he went from 5 to 3. That's a big change if you're talking points wise. Because it shouldn't be shifting that much. I mean, it should be pretty flat right now, but I mean, the price is blocky. Oh, okay, so it was 3 points last week and now it's 5. Well, yeah, I mean, it looks like they did increase it then if that's the case. Because I mean, if you notice that it went from 3 to 5, then yeah, they definitely increased it. I don't know if that's a standard or if they're just doing it temporarily. The way that the market's moving right here, how it's so blocky, I could see it as just being temporary because they need to cover that spread because of the movement here. So I don't know if that's the case. I mean, you probably want to just check Friday at 3 p.m. It was yeah, I mean, the spread's always changing. It's never going to be like, well, I mean, it should be kind of flat. Like it should be around the same area throughout the week and throughout the month and whatnot. But yeah, if it's shifting between 3, 4, and 5, like between 3 and 5 is a big change. Usually it's only changing like by 1 point. So yeah, again, I can't really answer any questions for Henko. You should probably just message Henko, like message their support and ask them directly. Because I don't, you know, the only way to get like the proper answer is just to ask them like directly, like ask them if they raise the spread, because I have no idea. But the spread does change. It doesn't change that much though. The only time it really changes is between like different sessions. But if you're looking at New York session like every day and it's changing a lot, like 1 point change is not a big difference. Like you can go from like 3 to 4, it's fine, but 3 to 5 is a big change. That's like the Asia session spread. So I probably just go to the website and send them a message to their support, and they'll just confirm for you whether they've like made the change or not. All right, so there's no entry here for the momentum counter scalp yet. We're looking for 2 green candles. We have news coming up right here at 7 o'clock, so I don't even know if we even get an entry. for the counter scalp. Let me see. Yeah, and the entry only comes up between 6 and 7. So if we get close to 7, then there's just not going to be an entry for us here. Yeah, exactly. Min said prices overextended. Momentum counter scalp would be nice right now. Yeah, I agree. 100%. I mean, it would have been perfect right here. Like if we had this right here, it would have been nice because we could expect that to push back to open if we were to get it. But I mean, we might even get it right here. It's a little too close to news though. 6 minutes, and the candle's a little too big. Yeah. So it's not looking like we're gonna get that. I think the biggest size, what did I put here? I mean, it's not even a criteria, but typically if the candle's too big like that, I wouldn't take it. I think 300 pips is like usually my threshold for the candle being too big. So this is a momentum counter scalp, guys. I'm not going to take the trade though. I'll follow it and we'll document it as an entry, but I'm not going to take it. This candle here is just a little too big. If you guys want to take it, feel free. But I'm just going to follow it. I'm going to look for a momentum pullback scalp once we get closer to, session or after news actually. So there goes a momentum counter scalp. Looks like it did, or not yet. Did it hit? No. Close, but not quite. So the momentum counter scalp almost hit CP right there. I mean, I'll probably shoot up and then hit CP, but again, I'm not in this position, so we're just documenting this for the spreadsheet. Yeah, it looks like it hit CP there. All right, so if you guys took it full TP right there for the momentum counter scalp, I mean, it looks like it should blast through it, especially if you get that buy signal right there. So if you guys took it, great. If you guys didn't, it's okay. I didn't take it myself, but we are going to document it here. So entry came up right here at 6:45 or 6:54. 6:54. It was a buy and trade. It was a win. 100. All right. So win right there for the momentum counter scalp. I mean, all the entries for today I've hit. We had the momentum counter scalp that came up. We had the breakout V2 come up. Both hit full TP. So we had that right there. And then we had the breakout V2 also hit TP. I just realized I missed the entry here for the intraday scalp. I don't know if anybody took the intraday scalp. It actually came up right here. Sorry, guys. I wasn't paying attention to it, but it did come up right there. ATR at that time was 23. Yeah, I'm a mess today, guys. I totally missed that trade. But yeah, the intraday scalp actually came up right here. I think it was around news time. Yeah, so I wouldn't have taken it. News happened right here at 6:45. I think that's why I wasn't paying attention to that trade there. But yeah, this was the intraday scalp. So I'll document this as well. This was a 23 move, 23 points. So this here was for the intraday scalp. And I haven't taken any trades today. All right, this one came up at 6:47. This was for a sell. It was a win, 230 points, or 230 pips. All right, so basically all the entries hit today, guys. I don't know if you guys took any of these trades, but the momentum counter scalp hit full TP, breakout V2 hit full TP. The intraday scalp hit full TP right here. The only other entry that we're looking for here for testing phases, or the testing wise, is going to be the high-low momentum scalp. So high-low momentum scalp, and I'm going to start drawing up the levels here as well for the momentum pullback scalp. Nice, Sisu caught it, Dan caught it. Yeah, nice work, guys. All right, we got news coming up right here in about 2 minutes. Very high impact. I priced it out. until the news passes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start market up. Let me go over here and mark up opening price real quick on our clean chart before I make that mess with the levels. So here goes our clean chart for today. So you guys can see a lot of choppiness. Let me go over here and I'll mark up the zones. So we have the zone right here. Here. All right. So looking at this right here, you guys can see that it's currently in a range. So it's basically bouncing between this area and this area down here. So that's currently where price is at. It's not really moving too much. It looks like it's kind of frozen right now. It's not really moving at all, actually. So this is the current market. We have the news right here on this candle. And we'll see if this ends up. So let's check the news. So price is basically correcting back up from like what we were looking at earlier, looking over here at the news. So the news was a little bit mixed. It was more so positive. So we already knew it was going to be positive because we had the initial news right here at 6:45. There's just one news event here that was low impact, that was negative. Everything else is positive. And you can see prices filling this candle from earlier. If you guys remember what I mentioned, price was going to come back up and just fill this candle at some point, right? And come back to open. And that's exactly where price went. See where price is currently at right now. So if you guys want to trade news, like typically, look to see if price does the opposite of news, and then look for the correction back up. And that's exactly what happened here. So price kind of just was manipulated to the downside right here, and then it shot all the way back up. Right here, back to opening price. So now that we have that, I'm going to start marking up the levels. Let me zoom out real quick. That was a nice little push. But all right, so let me go ahead and start marking up the levels over here. Black. How far did I go up? I'll probably go up to, I don't think it's going to climb this high. All right, so mark that up right there. Looks like we're good to go with the zones here. So, yeah, I mean, in order for us to have an entry here, we need to confirm that price is bullish. It's not bullish yet, but once it does push up, we'll be able to confirm that. You guys can see that the trend's kind of mixed right now. Price is above the pivots. However, the pivots here haven't shifted, and the trend meter down below is currently red. So it's not exactly, hasn't confirmed the direction yet. I mean, all the entries for today hit though. So, I mean, if you guys took any of the entries that we were testing, whether it be the counter scalp, breakout V2, or the intraday scalp, they all hit TP. I haven't taken any trades yet, so I'm just sitting tight right now. Kind of wish I took that breakout V2 though, because that trade was a pretty smooth trade that came up earlier. Yeah, I'm just gonna be patient, guys. You know, I don't like the way the market's moving. Even though the trades are hitting, I still don't really like the blocky movement here for these candles. And sometimes you just have to go with your intuition. If you don't feel comfortable with the trade, then just don't take it. Like right now, I'm not feeling too comfortable entering anything yet until I have some sort of confirmation of direction. So just looking at this here, you can see price kind of faked out. Now it's coming right back up. And we'll, I guess we'll just have to wait and see where this ends up going. If this ends up correcting back up and it just continues to climb, then that's fine. We'll be able to look for some momentum pullback scalps in that direction. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this red pivot to cross below all the other pivots. Once this red pivot crosses below all the other pivots, I'll start looking for some buys because that's going to confirm that we're currently in a bullish trend. You can see a lot of back and forth movement right here prior to us getting to that point, but we are getting close to it. So we'll see. I'm basically just focusing on this red pivot right here. So as price continues to climb up higher, the trend will show itself. So you're just waiting, we're just waiting for this to show itself. And then once it does, we'll take a look and we'll see where that goes from here. Step away for 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna blow my nose. All right, guys, I'm back on. So we don't have that confirmation of trend yet. So looking over here at the pivots, again, I'm just waiting for this red pivot to cross below all the other pivots. Once we have that, we can possibly start looking for a buy. If price comes back down, then that's completely fine. We'll start looking for a sell, right? There's no need to really be stuck in one direction. Another thing that I'll do here is I'll take a look at today's overall bias. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment is currently, let's go take a look. Retail sentiment is currently 64% long. This indicates that 64% of retail traders are currently buying right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and sell. It doesn't really matter for the momentum pullback scalp because we're looking for little entries, but we'll just keep this in mind. So it's currently bearish right now, 64% long. Fundamental bias, looking over here at the fundamentals, are currently they're down 63 points, so they're bearish neutral right now with 60 points. Short-term technicals, I'll put bearish neutral, and long-term technicals, we'll just put bearish. So yeah, looking at this here, I mean, it looks like we have a bearish bias for today. So I don't really care if price ends up going down or up, but for the most part, if it does come down, it's going to be more in our favor. I prefer it to go down because the bias is bearish. So if we get some momentum pullback scalps for a sell, I feel more comfortable looking for an entry in this direction. So, all right, price is starting to shift. If this is the case, if the red pivot crosses above all the other pivots, and it's just above everything, then it's going to be bearish. You can see the trend meter down below is also red. So it's a win-win for us if it does come back down, because it's also in the direction of our bias. But you guys can see this blocking movements. It's really hard to tell if it's going to just come down and start dropping or if it's going to sit at this area here. You guys can see how we have a sell signal, but it's hasn't closed yet. Yep. And there goes the sell signal. So this is fine that we have a sell signal here. We just need to confirm the bearish trend. Once we confirm the bearish trend, we can start looking for a sell. Let's see, CSUC said the 5-minute is not lining up. Opposite signals trying to produce, sitting on hands for a bit. Yeah, exactly. CSUC said definitely will be looking for an extra confirmation for himself. Very blocky moves. Yeah, I mean, if you guys don't trade today, it's not a big deal. You don't have to trade, right? It's the first of the week. So, I mean, if you see something good, then, great. But if not, then there's no need to really force anything here. First trading day of the month and first trading day of the week. So we got a whole week ahead of us, a whole month ahead of us, a whole couple months, actually. You want to be careful for Fed week. So it's not Fed week, it's NFP week. Or what did I say? Yeah, NFP. I thought I said NFT. It's NFP week. So, I mean, that's another thing that I didn't really think about. It's NFP week, so it's already supposed to be risky as is. Usually NFP week is like hit or miss. It's either going to be very good or it's going to be very bad. It's never really in between. So looking at this here, I mean, all of our entries hit full TP. So it looks like this NFP might be a good week for this month. But yeah, all the entries hit. So breakout V2 hit, momentum counter scalp hit, intraday scalp hit. We're still looking for this high level momentum scalp. It hasn't come up yet. So, I mean, we'll see, when that comes up. But yeah, I mean, everything's pretty much hit for the most part. We're now looking for a momentum pullback scalp. I'll look for the high level momentum scalp, but for the most part, I'm looking for the pullback scalp. We just need the confirmation of the trend. So, okay, if we get another green candle, then we might have the confirmation of the trend. It's just going to be a matter of time until we get that. Yeah, C6 City, I'm only looking for something good. If there's nothing, he's more than happy to call it. Yeah, same here, guys. I'm not really trying to force anything today. We have a lot of time though. It's 7:10, so we have 50 minutes until 8. So I'm gonna be looking for an entry for sure. It's just if it doesn't come to me, I'm not gonna force anything. Yeah, William said it's okay. I haven't taken any trades either. 6 months ago, he'd get nervous wreck taking trades. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, William, 100%. All right, so price is finally confirmed. So we currently have the trend. You guys can see we have a bearish trend now. So after this green candle right here, we have a possible entry for a momentum pullback scalp. So if this candle here closes below this black line, the momentum pullback scalp will happen right here. If it closes above, then we'll probably have to wait again. But if it closes below this black line, the entry is going to happen right here at the 30 mark. Super blocky movement. It's going to be hard for me to manually enter into this trade because of the blocky movement here. Okay, so it closed above this black line. There's no entry at this level. The entry would technically be at this level, but I'm not going to take it because it's too close to this candle here. All right, it's just too. So this is the lowest level I would take it because the sell momentum is right here. This is the low of that candle. So this is the only area I would take it in. I wouldn't take it any higher because it's passing the candle now at this point. Since this candle didn't close below it, there's no entry here. So we're just gonna have to wait again. So no entry there for the momentum pullback scalp. Like I mentioned, guys, we needed this green candle to close below this black line, and it closed above it. And this is like the worst part about it being a blocky market is because it's going to be really like almost impossible for us to get like prime entry if you're entering manually, unless you're waiting for like a candle to close, which yeah, it's going to be a little difficult. Yeah, so unfortunately, I mean, it looks like the trade probably would have played through if we were to get the entry right here, or it almost played through. But the criteria wasn't met, so we couldn't take the entry there. So yeah, unfortunately, the entry would have played out there if that was what we were looking for at the 30 mark. So we wanted it to close below this black line. If it did close, that would have been a pretty solid entry. It would have pulled back a little bit, but it came right back down. and blasted right past the TP. So it's all good. We're still looking for the entry here. We just need to look for another setup. So we have this candle coming down right here. And we'll just look for another, another pullback. But yeah, that entry would have been nice. If only this thing closed below. It's because of these blocky candles. If the candle wasn't so blocky, it probably would have closed right at the line. But then you guys saw it close. It like kind of pulled up and then closed at the last second above the black line. All right, if we get a green candle right here, the next opportunity would be right here. Again, it would have to close below this black line, green candle. But if we do get a green candle that closes below this black line, entry would be at the 20 mark, right over here. Nice. Yeah, Rashida said she definitely got in early and closed it as soon as she saw a little profit. I mean, I would have done the same thing, Rashida. If it wasn't so blocky, like you see how these candles are moving? If it was like a smooth candle, I would have done the same thing. I would have just hit sell as soon as it got to that point. But yeah, it's just too blocky. I had to wait for it to close. So anyways, guys, if this here ends up closing with it has to close as a green candle. So just keep that in mind. It has to close as a green candle and it has to close below this black line. So basically in between this area right here. And it's not looking like it's going to close green. So we'll have to wait for the next candle to come up. Yep. Did not close green. So we have another opportunity right here. But again, as you guys know, very messy market. Not really messy market. If you were to like look back at this day, like say a week from now, you would look at the candles and you're like, oh, it doesn't look weird to me, right? It looks like a normal movement. But if you're looking at the candle in real time, you can see that this is it's not really moving too smoothly at all. All right, so no entry here. Yeah, definitely no entry here. I mean, technically the entry would be here, but this is too high. This is, I wouldn't trade me like anywhere above this line right here. This would be my lowest point or my highest point, I guess. Yep, so no entry there, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, no entry for the momentum pullback scalp. Price just ended up swinging right back up right here. Yeah, exactly. Ellen said it's playing with us. Yeah, it literally is. There's a lot of good entries there that could have been the setup, or a lot of setups that could have been a good entry, but we haven't had our actual setup come up yet. So again, we're just waiting for this here to come back down. So you guys can see this sell signal right here, right? You guys can see the low point is at this specific line right here. This is why I'm not entering at any of these levels. The lowest level I'll enter will be down here. So again, right here, if price comes back down, so we're looking for price to come back down, retrace, and continue lower. That's where I'm going to be looking to take my entry right there. But yeah, this type of market is just, like Maddie said, it's a choppy market, and it's there's just not much of a setup. Yeah, Rashida said she would like a buy signal to come up first. I agree with you too, Rashida. I would wait for that to happen because that's probably going to be the best option for us. Because this sell signal right here is already it's kind of used up already, right? We've had this drop down. Now we're traced up super hard. I would like a buy signal to come up and then another sell signal. So this will set up for that head and shoulders that we typically draw, right? So there's a shoulder right there. If this comes up more, it's like messy head and shoulders, but that's exactly where we'd be looking to take our entry. So yeah, I'd probably wait for the buy signal to come up. Once the buy signal comes up, then I'll look for another opportunity. But yeah, right now, just gotta sit tight. I feel like we've been on this live session for a long time. It's only 7:17. Like, I feel like we've gone like 30 minutes later, but it's only been like 8 minutes since 7:10 when I last mentioned the time. So, all right, we'll sit tight, guys, and we'll wait for this. I would prefer for a buy signal to come up. It looks like it's trying to come up, but it's not really having much luck. Going back over here to the clean chart. Yeah, you guys can see it's at It's a bit of a mess. If there's any updates here. There's one more zone right here. All right. There's just not really too much going on here. Looks like price, if price is pushed back up, it's currently at opening price. Right there. If it does climb up higher, it'll probably climb up to the zone up there again. So it's right back to baseline, basically. It's like price didn't really do anything. If you guys look here, it's back at opening price. So it kind of faked out above here, it came back down, faked out, came back up, faked out, came back down, faked out, and now it's back at opening price. So you guys can see how like the opening price kind of acts like a magnet. Typically, like if it does come back here, it still hasn't chosen its direction, because once price chooses its direction, it'll continue pushing away from this opening price. So for example, you can see right here, it's not coming back down. If it continues to climb back down lower and lower, then it's going to choose to be bearish for the day. Right now, it's kind of just back at middle point or baseline, whatever you want to call it. Looking over here at liquidity. So liquidity hit over here. Let's see. So it hit pre-market, it looks like, came back up, came back for the second touch right here, and it blasted right through. Again, like we mentioned, this is a low level liquidity, so it's a little bit of riskier liquidity to take. I don't know if anybody caught it, but there was a low level liquidity right here. I guess a risky liquidity. If you get a risky liquidity like this, I typically look for the second touch. And if you guys did, it looks like it went straight through. So I'm not sure if anybody took this liquidity from earlier this morning, but it came up around 6:46, about 20 minutes ago. All right, the trend here is just, it's super messy. You guys can see from the pivots just keep crossing over each other. So again, we're just going to sit tight. I was looking for the high level momentum scalp. It hasn't come up yet. There was a lower low right here, but it broke through the pivots already on that specific candle. So there's no high level momentum scalp there. Winning game. All right, it's not really looking like anything's gonna happen anytime soon, guys. So if there's any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If there's any concern, with what's going on in the market, don't be concerned. This is just normal movement for NFP. NFP and then also first of the month, of course. Well, I mean, NFP and first of the month kind of go hand in hand because it's always the first week of the month anyways. So yeah, just, considering this NFP week, this is typical. That's like, usually NFP is either very volatile all throughout the week, or it's going to be very slow up until like maybe Wednesday, Thursday, once the other news comes out. I think a lot of people here are just kind of waiting for Jay Powell to speak as well, because he's going to discuss the inflation and stuff, right? Because they're supposed to raise interest rates this month or next month. Well, they said they're going to raise it at least by the end of the year. So with Powell speaking today at 8 o'clock, I think he's going to give a hint whether they're going to increase the interest rate this month, which I think is going to happen. It's either going to be this month or next month. I don't think it's going to happen during Christmas because a lot of people don't want to do stuff like that during Christmas time. So I'm expecting them to make that announcement today. And I think that's why the market's so blocky as well, because people are just not in the market. Let me check sentiment. So sentiment here hasn't changed at all. You guys can see It's been at 64 pretty much all day. So there's not really people going in and out of the market. Whoever's holding their position, they're just holding it and just waiting for Powell to speak. But the thing is, if Powell speaks, I think price is going to dump down. So when he speaks at 8 o'clock, we have Powell speaking right here at 8 o'clock. When he speaks, if he says that interest rates are going to go up this month, then you're going to see a sharp drop to the downside. And I think that's going to be in our favor because it's in the direction of our bias, right? So our overall bias for today is bearish. You can see retail sentiment is bearish, fundamentals are bearish neutral, short-term technicals are bearish neutral, and long-term technicals are bearish. Just looking at this here, I mean, everything's pretty much bearish for the most part, except for the 1 minute. You can see how messy the 1 minute is over here, but everything else is pretty much bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, everything's looking bearish, right? So I think this, we might get a temporary push to the upside, and then around 8 o'clock, when Powell speaks, if he gives a hint about raising interest rates this month, and he's going to make the official statement, I think, in the next week or two. So Fed week is usually either the second or third week of every month, basically, where they just have all their announcements and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if that's the case and price pushes up right now, maybe we can hop into at least like one buy here before price comes crashing right back down. But we don't have the trend yet. So you guys can see over here from the pivots, they still have not shifted. We're looking for this red pivot to be below all the other pivots. In order for us to get that, we need price to continue climbing. So if it continues climbing, you're going to see the trend here start to shift. And then once it starts to shift, we can look for a possible buy entry, applying the momentum pullback scalp. All right, so just focus here on the pivots, guys. Looking down at the pivots, once this shifts and the red pivots below the other ones, we technically, so in order for that to happen, we need like maybe 1 or 2 green candles. So if this candle here, for example, closes green, I would expect the pivots here to shift. So just look at the candles here. If it closes red, it's probably just going to continue going sideways. And then we'll probably look for another either strong green candle or 2 green candles to follow. And that'll be the, the criteria that we're looking for. All right, so you guys can see it closed slightly red, and the pivots here still have not confirmed. So if we get a green candle right here, like a strong green candle, I think the pivots here will shift and it'll confirm bullish trend. All right. So we got about 20 seconds on this candle, swinging back down. Yeah, it's not gonna set up. Nice. Yeah. So Vince had a V1 hit. I don't know if anybody was looking to take the V1, but there was a V1 that set up right here for a sell. It's funny, Vince, you weren't on here on Friday, and we were seeing all these V1s and we were wondering where you were because you usually call them out. But yeah, there was a V1 that came up right here, guys. Before this candle came up, there was a high right here. And this is where Vince identified the V1 variation. So Vince is like one of the main people who likes to apply the V1 variation. So if you guys want to connect with somebody who likes to apply it, he's like probably the main person that really calls him out every day. So yeah, V1 variation right there. And if this here closes with the sell signal, like Daniel mentioned, this would be a setup for the high low momentum scalp if you guys are looking to take it. Oh, didn't close. All right, so no high low momentum scalp there. And you guys can see there's just no direction today. We were looking for price to continue climbing here to confirm the trend shift, and it didn't shift. So Yeah, Maddie said pivots look like a mess. Yeah, super messy right now. There's just like no confirmation of trend. For me personally, I like using the pivots as the trend confirmation, and then I use the trend meter down below as a second confluence because the trend meter shifts a lot. You guys can see the change in colors, so it changes very often. Um, it's all good. So this is probably our cue to be a little more careful. I mean, we're already pretty careful as is, but there's just no entries coming up. You guys can see there's no direction. The thing to really focus on to see if there's a direction is open price. And you guys can see where the blue line is right here. It's a little harder to see because we have so many lines on the screen, but this blue line right here kind of indicates, if price has really moved or not, and it really hasn't. It's still there. Here's the clean chart. Yeah, you guys can see it's pretty messy. Like where price is currently, it's just bouncing back and forth. There's just a lot of fake outs. You guys can see how price pushes up, fakes out right there, comes back down, fakes out down there, comes back up, fakes out right there. And yeah, there's no direction here, guys. So, in order for us to really take a trade for the momentum pullback scalp, we need to confirm the direction. For the high-low momentum scalp, this candle already broke and closed below the pivot, so there's no entry for it there, even if this does close. But if this is the case and we get a sell signal, then we're going to try to confirm the pivots. And then once we have that, we can start looking for a possible entry. So the sell signal didn't even come up. It came up on this candle and it disappeared. And we have another opportunity right here for us to continue looking for a possible sell. We do have the bearish trend here with regard to the pivots. You guys can see how strong we're pushing came down. And now we're just waiting for this to play through. So we basically we're waiting for a sell signal. Once we get the sell signal, we can start looking for a possible sell entry for the momentum pullback scalp. This is exactly what we were waiting for anyways. We got that buy signal there. We have a new setup here for basically another bearish leg. Price does decide to come down, but we do need that sell signal. So once we get that sell signal, we'll continue looking for price to retrace up, come back down, and provide us entry on that pullback. But we need to get that. We need that sell signal. So it doesn't matter if it's valid or invalid. We just need a sell signal. So let's see. Vince said the ETR hit for 25 too. Nice. Yeah, if you took that trade earlier for the V1 with the ATR, would have been a nice entry. The ETR is good though. If you guys can see down below, we have high volatility. So you guys can see the difference here between volatility now and how it's been during the summer. During the summer, it was like 15 and under, right? Now it's at 27 and it's been consistently above 20 throughout the entire day. So I think this is a clear example of the shift in seasons. So, well, hopefully it stays this way above 20. It should stay above 20. That's like normal fall season. The only thing here is that we have blocky candles, so we don't really have the entry. It's nice when you have high volatility in a direction, but right now there's not really much of a direction. High volatility, but no direction. Price just keeps going back and forth. And you can see it's pretty clear here on the clean chart that, yeah, there's a lot of volatility, but there's no direction. It's just in a huge range. And here we go back up. So if this is the case and price comes back up again, we're going to look for the same thing, just in the opposite direction. So instead of looking for this down here, we're going to be looking for this up here. So it doesn't really make a difference for us. We're going to look for entries wherever the entries lie, but right now they're just not in there's just nothing for us to take right now. Yeah, exactly, William. Yeah, 27, the volatility. It's normal. It's normal for fall season. You can see here, it does shift pretty often though. It went from like 27 to 29. It's now 28. All right, we still have a bearish trend here. We just need to confirm that sell signal. If there's any question that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. That's kind of I'll be paying attention to the chart, but if there's anything that you guys want me to cover or respond to, just let me know. Oh, I was thinking like I don't know if anybody's tried to go on the MFF website. Their website's like completely down. I don't know if they'll ever come back. Yeah, I don't even know like what's going on with their lawsuit. I was hoping I can get my money out, but yeah, there's no updates from MFF. Alan's asking at the end, can you look at gold? Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at gold, once we wrap it up for the day. Daniel's asking, I wonder if you can get a record of the money it just recorded as loss on tax. I don't think they'll send it to you personally. I don't think they'll send it to you. And there's no way in getting in contact with MFF. I mean, yeah, that'd be nice if you could do that, but if they were around, I think it's going to be like funding talent. So if you guys remember funding talent back then, the same exact thing happened. Their website went down and then they just kind of fell off the face of the earth. Like they went through this whole lawsuit and they kind of just disappeared. Their website never came back up. There was never anything like any update on them. I don't even know what happened to the owner of funding talent back then. So it's basically just a repeat of funding talent, which sucks, but it's all good. I made my money with my Forex fund, so I don't expect him to come back. But yeah, I mean, that'd be cool if you could do that, Daniel. But I don't think there's any way that you could even get in touch with them. Because technically, like if you look at the documents, there was only like one person that was really running everything, which was the CEO. They didn't have like a board or anything like that. So there's just nobody going to take over. Yeah. All right. So we still don't have the sell signal here. It's and we have the bearish trend. You can see how the pivots are starting to fan out now. It's starting to look pretty nice for a bearish trend here. We just need that sell signal to come up, and then we can start looking for a possible sell. Yeah, Shannon said I took an L on funding talent also. Yeah, I think we all did. If you guys remembered back then, I think everybody on here, it was crazy because we were all in funding talent and we were all doing really good on them because that's when we were applying, I think, like the original breakout, and then we were applying the daily entry. And we were like on a pretty good streak on the daily entry. So like everyone was winning and getting funded and getting paid out. And I think that was a problem for them because they weren't expecting people to actually do good. So yeah, I mean, fun times, but yeah, we all took an L on funding talent back then. All right, so realize price starts to climb back up. If this is the case, I mean, this is fine. We just need to confirm the shift in trend. So here we go again right here. Let's measure these candles. I didn't realize this candle here was so huge. So let's just measure these candles real quick. Yeah, this candle was huge. It was like a 500 pip candle. Every candle has been at least like, 20 pips, 20 points. Let's see. If we get some bearish momentum here, we might get a sell signal come up, but you guys can see it just kind of disappears. Like the momentum comes down and then it pulls right back up and you have a huge wick on the bottom. It's exactly what happened here. Price pushed up, then it just came down super hard at the last couple of seconds of the candle. Yeah. Shannon said, I remember the girl who didn't get her 40K and she reported them and it was over pretty quick. Yeah, there was I forget her name. If you guys remember that, there was somebody that was in our community back then, and she had like started a whole campaign against them. Like she was sending email campaigns and like it was crazy. That was like her life goal to like basically destroy the company. Yeah, Cheryl. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, it was like her life goal to like destroy the company. Literally, she was putting so much money into like campaigning against the company, and then they ended up getting investigated and shut down because they didn't want to pay her like 40K or something because she was killing it. Like she was doing all the entries we were taking, and yeah, they were paying her out initially, and then they stopped paying her out, and then she got really pissed, and then she like literally made it her life goal to end that company. And then I think she's just traveling now. She still hits me up like every once in a while, I think, or I don't know if it's her, but I think so. But yeah, she's just traveling and trading, I think. She's traveling around. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, Sisuk said to just open, like start another prop firm. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I did. Like once we got screwed with funding talent, I just went over to I was already at FTMO, and then I started to use like other companies. That's when I found MFF and I found TFF and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll never let anything like that stress me out. It was and she was like arguing with like what's his name? The J-Rock too. It was funny. She was like art because there was like a guy that was like fanboying for like funding talent back then in our group too. So they were just arguing with each other all the time. That's funny. If you guys have been part of the community for a while, we've gone through like a lot of a lot of different phases of people who like kind of show up and like cause a ruckus and then they kind of disappear. Um, yeah, I mean, majority of you guys here have been around for like at least a couple of years or at least a year. So you guys have seen people come and go, and it's nice. Rashida took the V1. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you guys here took the V1. So looks like Vince took this one up here. There was a V1 that came up. I should have taken that too, but it's okay. I'm pretty disciplined and waiting for the momentum pullback scalp, but there's another V1 that came up right here. There's a double body rejection high right there. And this would have been the V1 variation. I mean, depending on how you wanted to take it, if you took the original version, there was like no drawdown, went straight to TP, or if you took the ATR 2626, looks like that hit as well. Yeah. So depending on how you guys took it, I mean, there's a V1 that came up right here for a sell. The overall bias is a sell, so obviously you'd be looking for that. We do have the sell signal here. We need price to drop below. So I'm looking for that momentum pullback scalp. We have candles. We have this candle dropping right here. We need the retracement next, and we'll look for entry. The lowest level I'll take would be this level right here, or the highest level. I keep saying lowest level, but we're looking for a sell here. So I'm looking for the entry right here, if I can get it. Marcin is asking, was there a high level momentum? I don't see anything here. I've been looking for that too, but there hasn't been any entries for it, Marcin. I mean, if you just look back over here, so if you look back at all the lower lows, there's no entry here. Candle already broke above it. Lower low right here, candle already broke above it. Higher high right here, candle already broke past it. So there's no entry for a high level momentum scalp today. Well, at least not yet. All right, so we're looking for a retracement here. We have price dropping. It's dropping pretty heavy right now. We'll be looking for the retracement, and then we'll continue on. Let's see, Marcin's asking at 738. No, there have to be a higher high right here, Marcin. And the candles were already past the pivots right here, so it's like wrong on so many levels for the high level momentum scalp, because there's no higher high here, and then also this candle already broke and closed past the pivot, so there's definitely no high level momentum scalp there. So basically, like you look for a lower low or a higher high. You look for momentum to break and close past the pivots. Yeah, it's all good. Marcin said FOMO hit him. Yeah, I mean, did you make profit on it? Yeah, because I mean, so the thing, this is why we like trading in the direction of the bias. So like, for example, right here, Marcin made like a huge mistake. There was no high level momentum scalp here, but he still entered the trade. And the thing is, we have the overall bias for a sell. So even though he made a mistake here, he still made profit on it, right? So that's the reason why we trade in the direction of bias, because you guys can make mistakes after mistakes, and you'll still be able to probably win the trade, if luck is in your favor. I just got a notification from TraderBait. They said, we're currently investigating a delay users are encountering. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not trading on TraderBait right now, so that's not a big deal to me. But yeah, guys, if you guys are trading on TraderBait, they just sent a notification out that they're investigating some lag on the platform. So just keep that in mind if you guys are trading with TraderBait. All right, let me draw some more levels down here. So we have, all right, I don't know if we'll be able to get this entry here. The lowest level I'll enter from was down here, and price is like, it's too high now. So we can't take the momentum pullback scalp right here, unfortunately. Or technically, no, we can't. It closed above the black line right there. So the lowest level I would enter from would be right here. And since it closed above it, the next level would be here, which should be too high, because this red cell, the sell signal right here, you can see that the lowest point is below this line. So this is the lowest area I would make entry from, and unfortunately, we're not going to have an entry right there because this candle broke and closed past it. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, this market sucks today. It's very blocky. There's just a lot of back and forth movement. And we get like these random spikes in price. So yeah, unfortunately, the entry here could not be filled. I mean, technically, if you wanted to enter right here, you would be in the position and it'd still be running right now. But I wouldn't have taken it. It's just too close to this, to the, like, I guess the threshold that we would enter from. So yeah, if you guys took it at this level, it looks like it's still running and it's in profit. It's probably gonna hit TP, but it's just too close to this candle right here, because you can't have an entry that's like past the momentum, which should be right here. You guys can see the entry just be too close. Yeah, so unfortunately, I mean, it looks like it would have hit too. So we had two momentum pullback scalps that came up today. They were all like really close to the momentum signal. So unfortunately, this one right here was too close. The lowest level I entered would be like right there. Yeah, unfortunately, there's just no entry for us. So, all right, guys, it's 7:46 right now. I don't think we're going to get another momentum signal or another entry from now until 8, or maybe I'll stay on and I'll see if there's going to be another opportunity here. Because this here did meet criteria, so we still have an opportunity to take one entry here. So the volatility is still pretty high. We could still probably get an entry here. We just got to be a little careful with, the movement. All right, so price pulls back right here. We need this green candle to close below this black line. If it closes below this black line, entry would be at the 90 mark right there. And we'll see. It's not looking like it's going to close below it though. All right, so it did not close below, guys. Again, it's too high. So there's no entry at this point right here. So we're basically basing off this sell signal right here. And again, no opportunity. I mean, it would have been nice. So you can see right there, I would have hit TP again. If only like it closed slightly below this point. Entry would have happened right there. Maybe running. All right, so let's check team profits for the day. So here are everybody's profits for the day so far. So we got Drew over here. Nice. Yeah, Drew's on vacation in Italy right now. So he said he had a little extra time to sneak in a couple trades in Italy. Total profit of 2,920 for the day. Nice work, Drew. Solid vacation profits right there. We have Francis here, total profit of 1,040 for the day. Nice work, Francis. We have Gian here, total profit of 1,910. Nice work, Gian. And we have Eunice here with a total profit of 90.84 for the day. Nice work, Eunice. All right, yeah, if you guys have more profit to send in, feel free to send them in. I haven't taken any trades myself, so I have nothing to share. I was hoping I'd get one entry here, but it's not looking like we're going to get anything from now until 8. I mean, I'll stay on and I'll see if there's anything here, because there's bound to be like one trade to come up, but I mean, we'll see. This blocking movement is making it difficult, because every time we get a possible entry, it just kind of it just blasts like past our entry point. So again, right here, we're looking for a green candle. If we get a green candle here, we're going to look to take entry at the next level, which should be right here at the 80 mark. So it didn't close green. No retracement there. We got another candle here that's currently pending. About 40 seconds left on this candle here. Let's see. We got some profits here from Surin. Surin locked in a total profit of 478 for the day. Nice work, Surin. Yeah, solid profits right there. All right, we got 20 seconds on this candle. The next level of entry would be, and this would be the lowest point or the highest point that we would make, and we'd be okay with taking entry at 90 mark. Next level is going to be right here at the 80. I missed the trade. I don't know if anybody got into it. Just moved too fast. So the entry is right there at the, I mean, I wasn't able to get into it because it just moved too fast. And I don't want to jump in too late, because at this point, probably getting at like horrible entry. The entry would have happened right here, guys, at the 90 mark or 80 mark, sorry. 80 mark, and it is currently running in profit right now. So I'm not in the position, unfortunately, I kind of missed it. It closed to last minute, and I don't want to jump in right now because like the volatility is super low. So I'll follow up for you guys here, but I'm not in the position, so I'm not going to count this as an official entry for us. If this here closes, then you have to you'd have to close it for a small loss. If it closes with a buy signal, if it doesn't close with a buy signal, you can hold on to it. All right, so it's coming back down right here. Buy signal didn't close. Trade is still running. It's like in some drawdown right now, but it is still currently running at the moment. So again, guys, if you guys are in this position, if this candle here closes with a buy signal, you'd have to close out for a small loss. Otherwise, just hold on to it and just let it come back down. Let's see where I'm at right now. I didn't get into the position, so I'm just watching it. You got 30 seconds left on this candle, so there's a lot of time on this candle right here. A lot of time until it just might block right back down. Let me see what the spread's like. Spread's currently at 180 right now on FTMO. It hasn't changed at all pretty much the entire day. All right, the trade's still running. I'm not in this position, guys. I'm just following it for you guys here. This was the entry that we would have looked to take. I mean, I guess technically I could get in for a discount, but I don't like the way it's moving. Plus, there's like these pending buy signals that keep coming up. So I'm not going to FOMO into this. I'm just going to watch it. I was thinking about maybe taking it on my trade ovate, but no, I'm gonna hold off. All right, looks like it's coming back down. It's back at the break-even point, and it looks like it's coming down to TP. All right, the candle has about 5 seconds left on it. There you go, full TP. So if you guys take the momentum pullback scalp, full TP right there. I didn't take it, so obviously it's on account. You know, I'm being completely transparent with you guys, like whenever I take these trades. So I didn't take the trade. I don't need to pad anything. We're doing pretty great for the month so far. So all the trades today pretty much hit. If you guys took any of the trades that we were looking at, there was the momentum counter scalp that came up earlier today, full TP. Breakout V2, full TP. Intraday scalp, full TP. And I don't think there's an entry here for the high level momentum scalp. It's about like 8 o'clock. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, there's no entry here for the momentum counter scalp or high level momentum scalp. Dan said he was sweating on that one. Andrew caught it. Nice work, Andrew. Marcin caught it. Yeah, if you guys got the trade, solid work, guys. You know, you just gotta stay cool and composed, guys. Stay cool and composed. Like I know, like when it went to drawdown right here, people are probably sweating and kind of stressing out a bit. But like I mentioned, guys, you know, you just gotta let the trade run. The thing is, we're trading in the direction of buy. So even if you make a mistake, you'll probably, you know, it'll probably just come back down eventually. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Ruin said nervous Nelly. Marcin said thank you. Yeah, definitely, Marcin. Glad to see you locked in some profit on that. All right, guys. So before we wrap this up, I'm going to take a look at gold for Alan. Let's see. There's no V1 here because there's a sell signal. The V1 would be, you can technically still take it as a V1. It would be considered a V1 continuation. So depending on what V1 you're applying, you could have taken it as a V1 continuation because there was a double top there or whatever. But actually, no, so there was a double bottom right here. All right, sorry, a double body that happened right here. So you could have taken this as a V1 continuation, but it's not a regular V1 because we have a sell signal here. You'd have to have a pending sell signal in order for it to be a normal V1. So yeah, if you want to take it as a continuation, it would be, but not for that specific one there. All right, so let's take a look at gold. Alan, for gold, how do you want me to analyze it? Like on what specific time frame? Because I can analyze it on whatever time frame. I'm not sure how you're trading it though. Let's see. So I'll just do it on the clean chart here. Long term. All right, so let's take a look at gold real quick before we wrap this up for the day. All right, so if you want me to analyze it from a long-term perspective, you would just go, I mean, depending on how long-term you're looking, you can go weekly, you can go daily. It's just such a preference. But anyways, let's just take a look here. I'll just turn everything on real quick. How do I need the sessions, pivots? All right, I think that's all I really need. 1 week. Yeah, I would consider that long term. If you say long term, that's like monthly or weekly. If you're just looking at it for a week, that's like intraday. So it's not really I wouldn't consider that long term. So you can probably start from like the daily here. You can see obviously it's bearish. Going down to the 4, I think 4 hour would probably be the optimal time frame to look at if you're trading for a week. So we'll find the lower point. So let's see where the bottom's at basically, or where price may bounce. So looking over here, This is where price may possibly bounce off the daily. You guys can see I marked up the lower low right there. So let's go to the 4 hour. Or actually, so let me go to the daily real quick. I'll turn on the SRs. SRs are very useful when identifying strong levels. So you guys can see over here, there's an SR in this area. I didn't even know the SR was there. Like I already drew my zone there, but you can see there's already an SR that's lined up here. So I drew the SR exactly where it was supposed to be. I created this indicator, so I know where the SRs are typically going to be at. So looking at that there, I'll go down to the 4 hour. And I mean, there's not too much to analyze here because obviously it's bearish. The only thing that you can probably look for is like where price will likely bounce from, right? I think the interest rate, or so you'd have to see what Powell says today, because whatever Powell says is going to have a pretty strong effect on gold here. So if that's the case, and he says that they're going to raise interest rates this month, then you'll probably see price start climbing from where it's currently at. You'll probably see a reversal back to the upside, because if the US dollar is expensive, people put their money into gold, right? It's like it works counterintuitive with regard to the dollar. So if the dollar is weak, if the interest rates go up, the dollar is going to be weak. And then from there, you're going to see a climb back up here. So I think this here is just temporary. Areas to look out for the bounce would probably be like this zone right here. So it'd be about at like, the low point would be at 1,805. And that'd just be the lowest point from there. So like, I think if you're looking to catch a bounce here, Alan, it'd be around this area right here, because this is going to be the daily support basically. So with my SRs lined up here, I also drew it as my own zone using the lower low. And I think this is where price may bounce. I mean, if not, this is just going to be a key area to look at. So like when price climbs to this point, you look for price either bounce from here, or you're going to look for it to come through it, retest, and continue dropping, right? So there's not really too much to analyze here for gold. I mean, if you're trading it on a weekly basis, I mean, it's getting to a close area of manipulation. So like, I typically don't like to trade around these areas. I know some people like to catch the bounce and stuff, but typically this is where a lot of people get stopped out, because when price gets near this point, this is where the market makers know everybody's looking for this. Like everybody, it's so obvious here. If you look at gold, there's like only one support level, right? So at this point right here, this is where you could expect a bounce or a continued drop, or you might just see like consolidation once price gets to this point. So there's three things that can happen. Price will either come down, bounce from this level right here, and then continue climbing up if they raise interest rates, or if Powell says, oh, we're not going to raise interest rates, then price will probably continue dropping down here. So one scenario is price will bounce up. Second scenario is price will break below and retest. Third scenario, which is very likely as well, is the price will break into this area and then just go sideways for a bit, and then eventually it'll correct back up depending on the interest rate news, or it'll just continue dropping. So it's a tricky area right here to trade in. I would like to trade around this area. So like this open area right here would be perfect to trade in. You can just take sells and stuff. You can apply the same strategy. So like, for example, you guys know how we apply the V1 variation, right? How we were applying it today. There's a V1 variation that came up right here. So if you're applying the V1 variation on the higher time frames, I mean, it works the same way. You guys can see there's a pending sell signal. It's obviously bearish. You have a double body right there. You could have taken this for a sell, right? If you're applying the V1 variation. This is what I mean about applying my strategies to different assets. You can apply it to whatever you want. So typically, if you were to take this here, you can either base it off the ATR, or you can base it off the high here. So the high here was at like 900. You could have done this for like a 1 to 2 basically. And if you would have done that for a 1 to 2, you'd have taken the trade and it would have went straight to your TP. So is there anything specific that you want me to analyze with regard to gold, Ellen? I mean, if you're in a position, I can analyze it for like whatever position you're in, but for the most part, this is all that I can really analyze, because there's not too much to look at here for gold. I mean, the main thing to look for would be the specific price point, or if you're applying a specific strategy, the only entry that I could kind of see here, there was like 2 entries that came up. There was the V1 variation, and then there's also a high-low scalp right here too. So you can see how price broke this level right here. with a sell signal. This is actually a triple confluence. So if you're familiar with the triple confluence, this is the same thing we apply for US30, but it's on gold. So you have a sell signal here, broken close past structure, which is right there. We had a sell signal, bearish trend meter. Everything kind of lined up here for a triple confluence. So V1 variation to a triple confluence. You could have also taken the entry right there. Sorry, wrong one. You could have taken the entry right there as well. And, you pitch your stop loss at the swing, and then you do for like a 2-to-1, just like what I was mentioning before. So 2-to-1 here would be at, I guess like a 200. And it still would hit your TP right there. No drawdown. So yeah, guys, like I mentioned, you can apply the same strategies we're doing for US30 on gold. You can apply the same thing on Forex or whatever you want to trade. It works both ways. I was originally a stock trader. I went from stocks to Forex, and then from Forex to US30 futures. So, I mean, basically, my strategies, they work on everything because they're all momentum based. So they're not really based off specific levels and stuff like that. You just have to make adjustments to your TP stop loss. But for the most part, the strategies work. Whether you're applying on the 1 minute, like how we do, or you're applying on the 4 hour, same strategy. It works both ways. Right. Yeah, Alan said he was just thinking of a place to enter. I mean, price is overextended right now, so I probably wouldn't chase it to this level. I mean, if you're looking for a place to enter, you can apply any of the strategies that we would use. So like for the 4 hour here, let's go out to the 1 hour. Yeah, there's no entries that are setting up right here. If you're trading it off the weekly, probably the lowest time frame you trade on would be the 1 hour. 30 minutes kind of pushing it because you're intraday trading at this point. Yeah, it looks like there's a pending sell signal right here. So if the sell signal closes on the 30 minute, I mean, if you're trading on this low of a time frame, you can possibly take it for a pivot scalp. But I probably wouldn't trade that low if you're looking for a weekly move. So I'd probably stay 1 hour is even pushing it. The lowest I would go on would probably be the 4 hour. So I would stick to the 4 hour here, not go anywhere lower than this. And then you can apply any of the strategies that we're typically looking at. But it looks like all the entries already came up. Like you pretty much missed out on the big move right here, which was the V1 and then the triple confluence as well. You need to look for a retracement. So you need a retracement up and then continuation back down. All right, Alan, if there's anything else regarding gold, let me know. But for the most part, it looks like you pretty much missed the entries here. If you had the indicators, you could have taken this right here for the V1 or the triple confluence, but it's okay. Other than that, that's pretty much it for gold. Let's see, Ruin's asking, does anyone know if Fed P is live streaming anywhere? It might be on YouTube. Let me see. YouTube real quick. Yeah, he's on, here, I'll post a link right here for you. Run. So if you ever want to see live streaming, just go on YouTube and then just search PAL, like live PAL. CNBC is actually streaming it. So if you were looking to watch it. Yeah, so right here it says, and I got so many ads. I got to get that thing that Daniel was talking about, the YouTube premium. Fed Chair Powell participates in a community roundtable. Yeah, so I don't think he's going to talk about interest rates today. He's going to hold that for, he's not going to talk about it because he's not making an announcement. They're just talking in a roundtable. So there goes a link right there if you guys want to watch it. But yeah, guys, other than that, it's 8:07 right now. So obviously we're done trading for the day. If there's any other question that you guys have, feel free to reach out. You guys can message me on Telegram message me on Discord. I'm not really on Telegram as much. I'm still on there, but if you want a quicker response, just message me on Discord and I'll get to you guys, as soon as possible. There's a couple more profits here to cover real quick. We have Nathan over here. He said he should have held the first pullback. He tried to close in profit, but it lagged and it closed him out late for a small loss. But he locked in a total profit of 1,390 for the day. Nice work, Nathan. We have Marcin here as well. Total profit of about 600 for the day. Nice work, Marcin. His FOMO entry at what's a full TP. And then we have Eunice here with a total profit of 272 for the day. Nice work, Eunice. All right, we got Maddie over here. Oops. Matt didn't take any trades, but he got his funded accounts. Other than that, I think that's about it. And I'll just copy this over right now. I didn't take any trades myself, guys, so there's nothing for me to show, unfortunately. But all the trades today hit. So if you took any of the trades that we covered during the live session, they all went to full TP. So I mean, whichever one you guys decided to play your hand at, they all played out. But other than that, guys, I'm not going to force anything today. So no trades for me this week so far. I'll come back tomorrow fresh and we'll see what comes up during that live session. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise,